Okay, so now clipper and comb on the back taper is going to be just a same concept, but just a tad bit different. Of course, you got ear to ear is going to be where you're doing the most of your tapering. You got almost a clipper's length. If you look at the side, a little less than a clipper's length. If you say size and space. Here you may have 1, 2, 3, about 4 clipper lengths. What I like to do is start on the left side of my work and work around to the right. You want to make sure again that you got all the small curls combed or brushed out. That's going to make a great deal of difference. You don't want to be tapering around something and have a really sweet, well blended taper, and you go back in there and pull a curl out and you got to start the whole thing all over, right? So let's try to comb and brush all of that out now. And before I get started, I may do one of these deals and just casually graze over the top. Okay, that helps kind of clear a path so we can kind of see where we're going. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually put my clipper in an open 5 position, or coarse clipper. And if the hair grows here, I don't need to go straight up. I need to give a slight angle so we'll make sure we're definitely traveling against the grain, which just means direction. Right? And I'm going to break my work in half. I'm going to concentrate on the left side first, and we can work around to the right side. I'm going to use my longer flat top comb, longer teeth comb. Okay, I'm going to pull the hair out and just catch the edges and comb back down. And this is the old school traditional way of cutting hair, opposed to using your guards. You can see how that starts to blend down, starts to lay down very nice. 1 or 2 swipes usually does the trick, and then you can kind of put your finishing touches and your detail. Okay, here's my freehand technique just over the top there. Okay, once I've done all I can do with my flat top comb or my wider comb, I'm just going to switch over to a traditional barber taper comb. Okay, again, the teeth taper off from a little longer down to short. And you can do that using your clipper on coarse or fine. I prefer fine in this particular situation with this customer, so make sure you can really get in there and get the details. And the concept here, I always like to say, is almost, if you see a dark spot like up in this area, what you want to do is pick that up and say, you guys are a little too long. You can shave off the top of it and comb them back with the rest of the fellas. That's the concept anyway. And some of you guys may feel that you can do a better taper here, which is perfectly fine, because that's the challenge we want to put on all of ours. That's the one big competition nationwide. Who's got the, well blended tapers, well blended fade with little to no dark spots. And another thing you can do is turn your trimmer or your clipper sideways and do what's called a slicing or slithering technique, I believe the textbook says, and just lighten up or soften up the middle of your taper. Okay. Once that's been done, of course, we're going to take our trimmer down the side of it, and when that taper matches up with our side trimmer line, you should see a very nice finished neckline or neck taper. So that looks like. So it doesn't really matter how rough he chooses to wear that. So that's kind of trendy nowadays, where people are kind of wearing more of a curly, nappier, natural hair type of deal. But make sure your lines are nice and sharp, okay, and your tapers are set in there relatively decent. Okay, and what I'll do the same thing in that order with my clipper and comb technique. So again, you're here first, clear yourself out of path, just to cut it down a tad bit. That would serve as, I believe I heard another educator refer to that as a baseline, which means that you don't want to cut it any higher. You don't want your taper to go any higher than that, right? Okay, now we're going to work everything underneath there. I'm going to start off by setting myself a guideline here, beveling the clipper out with the clipper open 5 or a coarse clipper, and just beveling it out, bringing the clipper towards you, very light hand. Okay, and you'll see your faint line. Okay, how do we get that faint line out? Whatever put it in there was the longer teeth. Okay, once we've done all we could there, now we're using our barber taper comb for a back neck taper. All right, that's probably the reason why they named it a taper comb. So pull it up, just catching the edges. And notice my comb is going to be tilted back about a 45-degree angle, and just catching the edges, comb it back down in the natural way that it grows, opposed to here. See how sloppy that looks if we comb it that way? If you look close, it'll show you the direction that the hair naturally flows. Actually, I think some textbooks refer to it as the hair flow or the hair stream. If you really look close, as you're cutting hair, what you'll be doing is actually training the hair with your comb. It should be in the opposite hand, right? Give a free hand over there, and if there's any of the hair that's growing a little closer to the neck, towards the bottom, you can flip your barber taper comb over and use the smaller end of the teeth, and that should help you catch those edges without cutting it too close. Okay. So I'm going to step back, look at my work. If there's anything else we need to get, again, the concept is, if there's any dark spots, you guys are too dark, we're going to pick you up, snap the edges off, comb you back with the rest of the fellas. Now, this particular customer's hair would be very, very difficult to taper if I use guards. If you really look at guards versus combs, here's a guard that some barbers may use. It's actually plastic, this much of plastic. It's like a 3/16 guard. It's going to actually push the hair out of the way before it cuts anything. For example, if I put that onto the clipper, okay, clipper's off obviously, but before I cut anything, the blade sits down in here. So once I get up in there, it's pushing the hair out of the way before it cuts anything. That sometime would create problems for a beginner barber especially. Okay. So as an alternative, we're just going to take the comb, pick it up, and cut the edges, freehand, whatever's left. Okay, same thing here. We already put somewhat of a neckline on there. We're going to come back with our trimmers for the sake of the demonstration here. Comb or brush the hair into the line. That's the way your taper should sit. So give or take a few hairs here. You can always be your worst critic. I know I'm always critiquing my own work just as well as I'm critiquing other people's work. Alright, you got it? So generally speaking, we get our camera guy just to get a shot on that here. What we want to focus on now is just how our taper sits around our line. We got a taper here that drops into a taper beard. We didn't use any guards. Everything's clipper and comb or trimmer. Freehand trimmer there. Okay. Those are some of the more trendy looks nowadays. Challenge yourself. Pick up your, put down your guards and pick up your combs. Till next time, you heard it here first. Culler's Barbershop and Supply Store. Clipper and comb technique. Please stay tuned. We apologize. We've been gone for a little while. We're back at it. And hey, we love the industry. You know, I was somewhere doing something cool, barber related, right? But hey, all our links are on the bottom. Click on. DVDs are still coming, I promise you. It's going to be cool. I don't like doing sloppy stuff, so stay tuned. Another thing, we're working on workshops. If you guys are interested, if you're in barber school, talk to your instructors, you know, give us a call, 330-455-7467, which spells shop, 455-SHOP. Yeah, we're definitely interested in coming out to schools, working with you guys one-on-one. We'll be very friendly. We can work out the details. Give us a call, shoot us an email, all of those cool things. We want it to be real. We want it to be authentic, man. Till next time, good luck in your barber career. God bless you guys. Culler's Barbershop.